Hello everyone, welcome back to YIP Podcast, the podcast where we discuss political ideology, policy, current day events, and more. I'm your host, Alex Smith, and today we are joined by a woman who frankly needs no introduction. First beginning her fight against the two-party system in 1992 when she ran for office in the U.S. House of Representatives, and continuing this fight up till 2020 when she ran for the presidential position, Dr. Jorgensen has always been a beloved member of the Libertarian Party. She earned her PhD in Industrial and Organizational Psychology from Clemson University in 2002 and continues to teach there since 2006. Thank you, Dr. Jorgensen, for joining us today.
Oh, so glad to be here. And I think I do need an introduction still. Unfortunately, the media didn't do their job. And I'm not saying I'm entitled to coverage, but I would suggest that having somebody else on the ballot in all 50 states is definitely newsworthy and should have gone out there.
Yeah. And I'm also joined here today by my co-host, Paul Kramer.
All right. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, so this is going to be a little bit of a sort of question and answer. I'm going to start off my interview with a little bit of a difficult question. I know recently, obviously, with Trump and Biden have been sort of fighting it out over, who's winning. And Trump's obviously pushing out tweets, oh, this is all false, and I would have had such an easy time winning. But many people say libertarians have a minute impact given just the low percentages they generally get within a national election. But Republicans, especially now, you're getting 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 votes in every state. And those votes could have easily helped Trump win. And many Republicans do like to say, Trump only lost because Dr. Jorgensen got his votes. How do you see this? And, how do you address your 50, 60, 70,000 votes in each state?
Well, keep in mind, we're Monday morning quarterbacking, and it's probably about Sunday night at 11 o'clock. We don't even, actually maybe Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock, we don't quite know the score yet. We don't know the numbers. But I can tell you that from preliminary numbers looking yesterday, it looks like I had an effect in 2 states, which would be Pennsylvania and Georgia. And by the way, not to say I didn't cover the spread in other states, but in other states, it wasn't as closely contested. So it looks like I might have had an effect in both Pennsylvania and Georgia. And I know Pennsylvania is one of the states that pushed Biden over the top. So it's possible. I'm not going to say it definitively yet because we're not quite there yet, but almost.
Yeah, definitely. And I was very involved in your campaign. I was text banker, helped quite a bit with that and sort of the administrative work with Peely. So I am a supporter. But I know a campaign email of yours was sent out yesterday, actually, regarding that a little bit, and also, bringing up the good factor that these votes are earned because the people did not like the 2 main party options, and a third party is obviously the better option for many people at a time. At this time, how do you feel about ranked choice voting? Do you think that would possibly help bring a third party out, sort of like help sort of eliminate this 2-party system?
Yeah, I think so. However, to tell you the truth, I haven't kept up. I was on a plane all day today. So I'm still campaigning, apparently. I'm here in Texas. And so I haven't been keeping up with the vote totals, but it didn't look like the numbers in Maine were as high as I thought they would be, because now they've got ranked choice voting in Maine, so they don't have as much of the wasted vote thing. Although, but the thing is this was such an emotionally charged election. And people were like, anybody but Trump, anybody but Biden. And I've been getting some really nasty emails from people. I don't even know how they got my email address and even to my home phone number. Just, things I can't repeat on the air, that they're very upset because of me, I let this guy in or that guy in. And by the way, before the outcome that we heard today, which, it looks like it's going to be that way, but over the past couple of days, I was getting nasty emails from both sides saying, because of you, the other guy is winning. And so, yeah, ranked choice voting does help. But if you're just so against somebody, then it's probably not going to help as much.
So what do you think sort of is the way to bring out the Libertarian Party, or at least bring out a 3, 4, 5 party system rather than having this concurrent 2-party system?
Well, we have got to get more exposure. And the media, as I mentioned, haven't been doing their jobs. And again, not that I'm entitled, but it's newsworthy that there's somebody on the ballot in all 50 states. So we're just going to have to regroup. I know that there is a new group that's coming up with a different debate commission to try to possibly get the Libertarian Party into a debate with the other two. So we'll see how that goes. By the way, I don't know if you knew this, but I was in a debate in 1992 for House with the Democrat and Republican. It was Bob Inglis and Liz Patterson, by the way, if you know your history. But luck of the draw, I actually got the middle lectern on stage. So I had the Democrat on one side and the Republican on the other side. And it wasn't quite as bad as Trump and Biden, but they were trading barbs pretty well. And the Greenville News the next day referred to me as the rose between two thorns.
All right. So the next question plays into policy a little bit more, and also into numerous pointers, sort of the war on drugs, policing, and qualified immunity. With protests in favor of the Black Lives Matter movement and organization rising again, there's a lot of correlation between some of your points and theirs that I've seen sort of made. What are you looking to do for Black Lives Matter, possibly for the people too, obviously opposing Black Lives Matter, because both sides do have valid points?
Yeah, well, of course, I'm against Marxism. Libertarianism is the opposite of Marxism. However, we both agree on many of the problems. We agree that we need to get rid of qualified immunity. We need to get rid of no-knock raids. We got to get rid of the racist and destructive war on drugs. The only difference is, and this is a major difference, is that they're going to government. They think more government will help solve it. And I know that government is what caused the problem to begin with. And so the answer is to not go to the very people who are causing the problem. Now, I did speak with a Black Lives Matter leader and spent most of the day with him, and he was not familiar with the Libertarian Party, and I listened to him and his stories, and he listened to me. It was actually a very enjoyable day. And by the way, no, he's not affiliated with the National Party, and he didn't know, for instance, that the bus that Rosa Parks was on was government run, government owned. He was like, really? And I said, yeah. And I said, imagine if Uber discriminated against the best 60% of their customers the way the government did. They would go out of business as well. They should. And he's like, yeah. So, if I can find people who agree on a problem, that's at least a starting point. And if I can show how my solution's better than theirs, then maybe I can win them over. There are a lot of people out there who think qualified immunity, well, yeah, cops need to have special considerations so they can do their job. Now, by the way, I do realize that they are in a special situation, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't have some kind of protection, just not the one that they have, qualified immunity. And there are, many other people who are like, no-knock laws? Yeah, we need no-knock laws, because how else are we going to catch drugs in the middle of the night, So, it's like, I'm not even going to have a conversation with them because they're not even halfway there. So I would rather have a conversation with people who are halfway there than to try to convince somebody that these are problems to begin with.
Yeah, definitely. And I've watched a similar interview you've had. I know in Texas you had an interview about 6 or 7 weeks ago where a reporter asked you a similar question and you kept sort of the same platform. And that's something we're not seeing with mainstream parties nowadays and mainstream leaders. I know Biden's shifted a lot around with his, plans on literally anything ranging from Black Lives Matter to policing to climate change. He's just moved all over the platform. And so same thing with Trump, with gun control, with all of these issues. So that's one thing I do love about the Libertarian Party.
And actually, I can actually take it back even further, because you just said like 6 weeks ago in Texas, somebody on the internet put out clips of me in 1996 when I was the VP candidate talking about the Rosa Parks story, and clips with me now talking, like going back and forth from me in 1996 to me now. And I haven't changed since 1996 or 92 when I ran for US Congress. And yet look at Biden, how completely he's changed since the supposed to be the anti-war party. No, we got to leave him there to protect. And it's like, are you listening to yourself, Democrats? It really has gotten to be the red team versus the blue team. Neither side has any, kind of compass, any core values that they follow. When you've got the Democrats being pro-war, things are flipped around backwards. And so, that's what I've been telling people. When I first joined the movement 40 years ago, I used to be able to say, well, we take the best of the right and the best of the left. I can't even say that anymore because the right doesn't have that anymore and the left doesn't have that anymore.
Right. Well, obviously in the past 8 months, it's been, some will say, even a horror to live in America. It's definitely been difficult. The COVID-19 response has been, on either side, kind of caught up in a culture war and a governmental war about how everything has to go one way across the board. To start broadly, what do you think the role of the federal government should be in cases like epidemics with COVID-19?
Well, in cases like COVID-19, I think that, first of all, they need to get out of the way. And that was Trump's biggest mistake, was not getting rid of the FDA obstacles. So I do not think that, put it this way, we've got the federal government in charge of the FDA. We've got them in charge of making rules. And look what happened. We lost tens of millions of jobs. And, I've heard people say, well, but we need some kind of safety. But the FDA has gotten to the point to where, it's like a 10-year run just to get a drug approved. How is that helping anybody? Now they're keeping drugs that could help people out of the people's hands who could use them. So now they're doing the opposite of what they should do. So I would say, the federal government can make announcements, but they certainly shouldn't be playing doctor. They should be saying, go to your healthcare provider. And they should get rid of anything that would prevent people from being tested, as we saw happen this time around. Right.
And of course, a big part of the debate as well is the stimulus packages. We're seeing a lot of people who are saying it's hurting us and a lot of people are saying it's helping us. That kind of plays into the idea of big government when we talk about things like stimulus. And obviously, the libertarian philosophy focuses a lot on tackling big government. How do you feel about stimulus packages in regards to big government?
Well, even in this case, a lot of people are happy that they got their $1,200. But what they don't realize is that a lot of the money went to, of course, the friends of the people in Congress. It's going to those big corporations who, by the way, were allowed to stay open during the pandemic. And the research is clear that money left in the hands of individuals and in the hands of companies, of businesses, create twice as many jobs as that same money in the hands of government. And seriously, even, I've had complaints about the wealth gap. Even so, would you rather have Bill Gates have that money, or Apple or General Motors? Would you rather have them have that money to create jobs, or do you want Joe Biden or Donald Trump to have that money to create jobs? I'll leave it in the hands of the people who know how to create jobs, because anytime a government creates a job, it's not creating a good or service that's really needed. It's not creating anything productive. It's just a means of transferring money from one to the other, but it's not actually producing anything.
Right. And that kind of plays into the ideas of, how moral certain politicians can be, how moral certain people can be. And a lot of people will say that the libertarian philosophy kind of requires people to be naturally good. This is kind of an offshoot question, but do you think that people are naturally good?
Well, I disagree with the premise. And as far as, I think that most people are somewhat good. We do have keep in mind my degree's in psychology.
Right.
I do know that we do have some psychopaths and sociopaths, and that there is a genetic component. However, the environment plays a role as well. So but most people are at least neutral, if not good. But no, I say the opposite. If you look at, for instance, Charles Manson was horrific, and look at all the damage he did, killing, slaughtering people who thought they were safe in their own homes. But now look at somebody like Hitler, who has the power of big government. And what I say is that government is too powerful of a tool to be left around for evil people. In other words, we talk about the free market, right? And how we want the free market to earn our business. We want to have, in order for a company to get big, they have to get big by pleasing us, by giving us the best quality, the best price, and not by pleasing the Congress people. Well, I mean, you could kind of look at the reverse for evil people. Charles Manson basically had to, through the free market, find people who were willing to kill for him, as opposed to Hitler, who through the power of government could do it. So no, I say that what we have now demands that people be good. What we have now with the stimulus package, giving money to big corporations, there have been laws that have been written specifically for corporations. In fact, corporations will often write their own laws and then simply give that to the Congress people, and then Congress people will introduce the bill. The congressperson didn't even write the bill. It was written by the corporation. That's when you need good people to have good people run these corporations that are given power by government to not go above and beyond and use that power to turn the market so that they write rules for just them. So no, I say the opposite.
Right. Obviously, we are a large youth-run organization promoting, political discourse, nonpartisanship, and also trying to introduce people to many new political ideas. And, we want to ensure we set high schoolers and collegiate students on a path to success. How do you feel youth can best get involved in modern-day politics, especially given the amounts of polarization we've been seeing recently?
Well, but see, I don't want youth to get involved in politics. In fact, I've had interviewers ask me, so when did you become interested in politics? And my answer is, I'm still not interested in politics. I view voting libertarian as an act of self-defense. I'm not here trying to get power, trying to make rules for other people, trying to get money from corporations so I can turn around and have a bill written specifically for that corporation. I'm here so that people can make their own decisions. And that's what I went around telling voters during my campaign, which is that you know better than any special interest or lobbyist how to spend your money and how to make decisions for your family. So I would say if you want to protect yourself, to join the Libertarian Party and only the Libertarian Party, and that unfortunately, most people in the Libertarian Party get excited about the national issues like Social Security, healthcare, and those types of things, and not local issues such as running for school board and mayor and so forth. So I would say if you're interested in politics, first of all, don't go to the Democrats and Republicans. Go only to the Libertarian Party, because if you're going to the Democrats and Republicans, then you're simply being, a Hitler on a very smaller scale, that you're going to bend the rules to how you want it to be. But all I can say is, we need you in the Libertarian Party, because we don't have enough people running at state and local levels.
Right. Okay.
Right. Yeah, Alex, let's sum it up quickly.
I think that's it for today. Thank you everyone for listening to our show. Again, this has been Youth in Podcast. Thank you, Dr. Jorgensen, again for joining us today. It's been wonderful meeting you.
Well, thanks. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
If you would like to continue supporting us, you can do so by following the links in our description and following us on Instagram at YIP Institute. Make sure to tune in next week as we upload every Friday at noon. Thank you again for listening, and have a good one.